Many years ago, someone asked me, Zareth, how do you win so much? What's your secret? How are you so good at all the things that you do? And I looked them in the eye, and I said, I really have to poop. Can we talk about this later? Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Zareth Prevails. We're going to talk about plug-and-play characters today, folks, and just get a pretty big list generated. Just, new players want this kind of list. Of course, medium players and top-end players need to be reminded of this list, just to remember how to make versatile comps and be able to not get stuck in the mud, or, like a CLS team, typically, we all define it as the same 5 characters. And whereas I think that that's really a strength of a lot of squads, I do think that we end up, forgetting what other characters can kind of do for our teams. And so this is a kind of an exploration of, what can we do to, if there's unexpected situations, like how can we kind of troubleshoot them? And so we'll talk about these characters, and it'll be great. It'll be so cool that you'll want to mount the algorithm, folks. Please, if you want to support the channel for free, all you've got to do is hit that like button, subscribe, comment, do one of those things at least. I would really appreciate it. Ding the bell if you want that fresh daily content. Mounting the algorithm. We need to show that algorithm who's boss, folks, and we do that by mounting it. Sounds a little dark if I'm just being totally honest. Let's go to the game and talk about plug-and-play characters, shall we, folks? Whoa, we're giving you guys a break from me saying that today. The armorer, the helmeted one, the one who is kind of a snob, and it doesn't make much practical sense that she is, but she is, and she makes armor for people that aren't Mandalorians, folks. For some reason, she'll do that if you just click a button. She's like, yeah, sure, you can just go ahead and have all these cool effects. Remember, if you give her a Zeta, she gives all of these benefits. She gives a 30% protection boost to people, if they have the two stacks or more, and she also gives them extra defense, which is something we kind of overlook. Defense impact is pretty strong. And then also 15% max health, which on Sith Eternal Emperor, he already has a crazy amount of health. 15% max health is a pretty substantial number. Wat Tambor is right along those same lines, folks. He is really good at making Zareth click on the wrong thing, I think. Yeah, making him click twice. All these abilities are really good. You guys know what Wat is. I really don't want to spend time on all these extremely obvious characters, because you know what they do. I just, the ability to prevent revives on any character, just be able to say, hey, everything you kill is going to stay dead is a very, very nice thing to be able to do. Thrawn, his fracture, he just stops people from being able to move until he takes a turn, which is really nice. And, you can keep their character all the way, from being able to move at all. If you look at his unique, I believe, it also gives him counter chance tenacity. And he's able to mess with their turn meter. Like if they have full turn meter, he's going to reduce their turn meter over time if he has characters on his team. He's full of tricks. He's an older character, sir, but he checks out. Cat is one of those extremely versatile characters that gives stats to everyone on her side that are light side, and I've always thought that it's sad, honestly. I wish Kenobi, Jedi Master Kenobi, didn't exist, because whereas, yes, it's a good combo, it's probably the best version of them, etc., it's still a shame, because she can go with so many different squads. I would love to use her consistently with, like a Dash team, or Padme, or even Rey. She'd be a better lifter character for Rey than Ben Solo is, ironically. Like, she's just, in a way, Kenobi is her lifter instead. She gives that 50% health and defense boost, plus 50% offense and critical damage. Just crazy. You have to jump through a few hoops, but, if they're unaligned Force user, Galactic Republic, or Scoundrel, it is fairly easy to give those boosts to people. Now, Hermit Yoda is one that, I mean, it's fairly obvious what he does, folks. I mean, he's got the cool health equalizing, plus after he equalizes their health, then he heals all of them, and then he also gives protection, and Jedi allies get foresight. And then remember, of course, the Master's training is probably the most important part, and this is something that you can keep in mind for when Dodge comes around again for Datacrons, if that's something that's you are going to need to worry about. I certainly am. He gives 25% accuracy, 50% accuracy if they're Jedi, though it doesn't matter as much. But, I mean, that combined with an accuracy arrow is going to be 55% more accuracy. And so if they give you a Cron, that if you play a Cron that has like another 45% accuracy, you're going to be able to hit even someone with 100% dodge. And it's nice, just nice to realize that there's other abilities in this game. Otherwise, accuracy we've always left up our sleeves at. I think that's one thing to keep in mind. But then also giving a character, whichever character you want, giving them defense, offense, potency, and tenacity at this 25% level, not too bad, honestly. Not too bad. Alright, there's the helmeted one. Instead, I'd like to talk about the I don't know, skull-capped one. He's got a fun helmet, at least. It's like something from a turtle, almost, which is a little bit sad, I guess. But we don't want him to die, or I guess maybe some of us do, depending on which episodes of the Clone Wars that we've watched. Now, he's got that new ability. He's like the new Thrawn, folks. He just stops people for 2 turns. And, this isn't the right, maybe it is, yeah, okay, so inflict captive on them, on these characters, and captive just means they just beat a set to 0, they can't attack out of turn or gain bonus turn meter, so they just can't take turns until he's done captivating them, or I guess if you kill him, then it stops it as well. But I mean, he's going to be a new plug-and-play character. He's going to fit into a lot of teams. Just keep in mind that he's neutral. He's not going to get any of those like light side or dark side bonuses that are generally given, based on alignment like that. Now we have Bam, Beskar Mando, and he's pretty plug and play as well, because he's able to help scoundrels. Like, scoundrels are all over in the game. In fact, they're all over the place in the game, and so he works with scoundrels really well, and he's able to keep them alive. He's able to dispel all their stuff and do all this cool stuff. The other nice thing, the damage immunity on scoundrels, really nice. The other really nice thing though is his ability to generate whistling birds. So keep in mind that every time someone takes damage, then it generates more whistling birds. So we can be with a team that doesn't have any scoundrels at all, and as long as that team is generating damage for your opponent, even if your opponent has damage over times on them or plague for some reason, whatever, as long as they're taking damage, every instance of damage creates more whistling birds, and then those whistling birds translate into death for anyone. He can also just ignore stealth and taunt. The stealth thing is really interesting because nothing else in the game explicitly ignores stealth. Very nice stuff. Sometimes people will like dispel stealth and some AoEs will hit stealth, whatever, but he's the only one who can target someone inside. Like, my favorite target for him is Count Dooku, because if you have enough whistling birds, Dooku just melts and he's like, but I thought I was safe, and it's like, haha. Like that, you're like, haha. Now Kylo masked Unren. What am I talking about? He's got so much versatility, folks, especially early game. One of the best tanks ever. His halt ability, so crazy strong, guys. Just auto stuns someone, doesn't take a check or anything. They can't resist it unless they're just immune to it. It gives them 2 turns of stun, which is amazing. He counters when he's hit. He counters and inflicts tenacity down on basic, which is also really nice. He pre-taunts as well. I think that's his Zeta. Yeah, so he pre-taunts, and then he can keep his taunt or regenerate it. And then if he's the lead, he's able to, I mean, he gives all sorts of things to First Order and everything, but then he also, whenever a First Order ally, so that's himself, even if he's with a team that isn't First Order, they recover, so he recovers 5% health and protection, but then in addition to that, whenever he takes damage, he also recovers 8% health on top of that. And he's just one of the best plug-and-play tanks in the game. He just does a lot of really cool stuff, works with a lot of teams. Darth Malak is one that people, you can put on a lot of teams. I've seen a lot of instances of him hanging out with Rey, for instance, and that's not just distant future or distant past. That's just like a season or two ago. He's just really strong with light side and dark side. I know that it reduces certain levels of synergy, but I mean the fact that he's able to do 100% max health with his drain life, the fact that when he gets hit, a lot of times he inflicts fear on the person who's hitting them, and it's just really interesting stuff, guys. And he does all that with an awkward, like, what are these little like side leg cape things? I don't get it. Like, I can understand like this like overly optimistic loincloth here on him, but the side ones, I'm like, do you have other body parts you're not telling us about? I don't know. He certainly does not have a chin. We do know that. So I don't know, maybe he's trying to compensate for something. Darth Traya is trying to compensate for not having a hand, which I suppose is more forgivable. She's like, hey, but now that I don't have a hand, let's make like an extra lightsaber so that I couldn't hold them all, even if I did have all of my hands. She's great as a leader of a team that isn't even Sith. I mean, yes, she boosts Sith quite a bit with her crit avoidance and potency and all that stuff. You guys can read about it, but the really nice thing is what she does to your opponent's team, because she's able to reduce she's able to hurt them, basically. You guys can read about it. She's very plug and play though. It really works nicely. And on a lot of Sith teams, if you don't want to use her as lead, on Sith teams she'll just dispel all your debuffs and still add and contribute quite a bit. Her Omicron is really strong, even though it got nerfed, it's still very, very strong. She does a lot of really cool stuff, folks. Better with Sith, yes, but can work with a ton of other characters out there. She especially goes well with Nest. Alright, we've got Shakti here, folks, and she does a lot of really cool stuff. I mean, she goes better with Galactic Republic, but she still does really nice stuff. Her basic dispels, so on basic she dispels, so you call her to assist, and it dispels, and it gives everyone on her team, it doesn't matter who it is, she gives them all offense up, which is a really nice ability to, you're like, okay, I'll dispel someone and give everyone offense up, nice. She also dispels all debuffs on all allies. Yes, she's better with clone troopers, of course she is, but she dispels all things, all debuffs on all allies. I mean, that's money right there. And then she calls someone to assist, just other ally. It doesn't matter. It could be the guy without a chin for all we care. She also heals them, which is really nice. I mean, yes, goes better with clones, but she also goes really well with Jedi. So Shakti and target ally recover 35% of their health and protection. It's really nice for banner recovery or just keeping people alive. And this is really impactful if you put her with a galactic legend. I mean, 35% of their health and protection is quite a bit. If they're, it's just a percentage. It's not, I don't know, it's very strong, folks. Not to mention, she's also giving herself a retribution, and she's just kind of obnoxious, to be honest. So she has a retribution, you hit her, and she gives her whole team offense up. Really nice. BB8 is really good with droid teams. I know that he likes to go with resistance and all that, but I mean, Illuminated Destiny works for everyone, and that's really nice. This covert data transfer thing, it's just a buff it gives to random allies, and whenever they use you guys can read it. I don't need to explain it, but it is nice. He has counter, so he gives tenacity down to everyone. The really nice thing, though, folks, is the fact that he gives 8%. He's all about 8s. He's BB8. I guess that makes sense, but yeah, I can't find it here, but yeah, okay, so if BB8 is active, droid allies gain 8% turn meter for each active droid ally. So he starts every droid off with 40% turn meter, which is really nice, folks. That it's really strong. In fact, 40% turn meter is a crazy amount for droids, and that there's a lot of really strong droid teams out there right now, even without datacrons. Just really strong stuff. Really very plug and play in a lot of different ways. Taunts when he's with droids, so that it messes with a lot of people, because when he's hit, then he calls another resistance ally to assist. It's nice. Kenobi, I mean, he's been that really good plug and play character for a long time, folks. I mean, as a tank, he passively taunts, he gives damage or crit immunity to people. He's just very tanky. I mean, he's also an admiral. Ooh, that's fancy. Han Solo, I mean, you could put him on any team because he will shoot first no matter what, unless there's another Han there, then it's a speed contest, a speed check, but otherwise he can stun anyone with his first shot, and then he also has a really great amount of control. He's able to reduce turn meter on people, he's able to stun people, he's able to kill them so that they can't actually take turns anymore. Really versatile character. Rex is the original, the OG plug and play character. He's the guy who gives form up to everyone, so clone troopers get 60% turn meter, but if he's fast enough, he's also able to give his allies 30% turn meter to start with. That also gives him tenacity up, which has been stronger in other parts of the game, but it's still pretty strong now. And his Rexecute, after it builds for a while, just kind of auto deletes any character that can take damage from percent to max health, and eventually it does add up to kill characters that don't, or that even have that immunity. It just takes a while to build if you can keep him alive. See how many we can get through here, folks. Moff Gideon is able to not only do the armor shred on his first special, he also, I mean, this is the best thing, he's really fast, one of the fastest characters in the game. So if he goes first, he's able to get rid of all of your opponent's turn meter and your team's turn meter, but then he gives everyone on your team 25% extra turn meter so that you get to go first. It works out really nicely, and he makes it so that no one can hurt your team as well, because he reduces their offense by half. Very plug and play. Maybe should have belonged on the top list. In fact, Mace Windu goes really well just because, I mean, usually he wants to be with Jedi, to be honest, but there's enough Jedi teams out there that he's one of those characters that it's like, well, if you have Windu, you're able to, you can stun people with the smite, you're able to attack outside of taunt sometimes, depending on who gets the shatter point. You're able to ability block on basic, which is really nice. He also has that pre-taunt, and he just, taunts all the time anyways. He's able to also chip away at characters over time based off of his shatter point ability, which is really nice, folks. It's just very strong. Every time you hit someone when they have shatter point, it reduces their defense, max health, and offense by 10% for the rest of the encounter, which is really nice. Chewbacca is, he's like almost doesn't belong here, but the thing is, if you for some reason are using Han somewhere else, then you can choose a team with the weakest character, and he is going to put guard on them, which is nice. They can't be crit, they're immune to daze and stun, and they have more crit chance, which they don't really need that. Nihilist, you play a game called Hide the Nihilist, which means that if you can just protect him long enough, he will annihilate someone. That's very nice synergy. Nest is one of the best solo characters in the game, being able to take out a whole team by herself. She has a cool datacron right now, but I don't know how much we're going to use it. She also is just very plug and play in a lot of different defensive comps just to annoy people. Dash Rendar is good. He likes to be the lead, but even if he's not, his unique acts as a lead. He gives everything, all this stuff to scoundrel allies, and whenever he even gives them turn meter boosts. In fact, he does some cool stuff for his team. His seeker missiles are welcome anywhere. C-3PO is an annoying complainer, and let's not talk about him, in fact, because it annoys me just looking at him. Echo is a character that, yes, he's better with Bad Batch, but he's fast enough, he can go first, you can kind of control a situation, and you can dispel vital debuffs, or buffs on people before the rest of the team goes, which is something that is really nice. I mean, I have him at 370 speed is pretty quick, but, I mean, it's very worthwhile. I'll say that. The Brute Alpha summons a Brute, which is a character that is a tank and keeps his taunt for a long time, and then once that tank is dead, he just summons another one. Really fancy ability. First Order Officer can be pretty quick, and he can hand 100% turn meter and advantage for 2 turns to just target other ally. It doesn't have to be someone for First Order, and so if you wanted to make him really fast, which mine is not, you can accomplish quite a bit with him. Alright, finally we have General Skywalker, and I mean, yes, he's strong with 501st, he's strong with Jedi, all that stuff. The thing is, you don't really even need him to go with any of those, because his leadership, yes, his leadership is specific to 501st a lot, and he doesn't even do that much for his team. The biggest part of it, folks, is when he's the lead, all units can't be revived. That means that if you're facing Night Sisters and you take Anakin or General Skywalker with a bunch of random characters, just like, some Ewoks or something, that means that those Night Sisters that you're facing suddenly can't be revived. Like, Zombie would be revived because her kit demands that she's revived. She has to be revived. However, none of the rest of them can be, and that's pretty strong to be able to just choose not to let them revive. Yes, his leadership is kind of a non-leadership other than that for other characters, but that's enough to make him a very versatile character in case you wanted to split him away from your 501st, for instance. Jedi Revan is another one of those characters. It's like, yeah, you want him with Jedi, but if you don't have him with Jedi, there's still a few cool things he can do. First off, you can mark someone with his thing for 2 turns, which means they can't gain, you make it so that they are marked. They have buff immunity that they can't dispel. They are marked, so that means any character on your team is able to target them. And, he's able to do, he calls people to assist when he does that. He can stun them when he does it. All of this stuff, he reduces their turn meter. But that mark is just so powerful, folks. Not to mention, if he's with any Jedi at all, if they die before he does, he's able to savior them. And not to mention, his ability name is also extremely versatile because he's able to he's able to use like Jedi Master Kenobi has a savior as well. No one knows what the actual ability is. They just call it savior because he started it. He started that trend. Jedi Training Rey is one of those that's all these characters are better with their factions, right? But Jedi Training Rey is nice if you really want, like, her mind trick just does all these debuffs on people. It inflicts debuff, or it dispels buffs, and inflicts ability block, daze, offense down, speed down for 2 turns. She gets some stuff, it's all very cool and all, but the other nice thing is her Defiant Slash ability inflicts healing immunity for 2 turns, which is really, really nice because it's obnoxious as hell. Also, if you have a way to make her taunt, she's a tank. So, like, if you put her on a team with Watt, he's going to give her the tank tech, and she's going to be your tank. That's kind of a fun little versatile thing. Jango Fett, he just has all the different tags in the game kind of thing. I have him modded for health right now because he's with the Mandalorians, but then he's also, he's able to do a lot of really cool stuff. Like, he doesn't die immediately when you kill him because he's got Bounty Hunter's Resolve. He's able to cause healing immunity with this big hit. He's able to double tap here. He's able to reduce max health on people if they are debuffed. 25% max health is quite a bit, folks. He's just got a lot going for him. He just goes on so many different factions. You're like, oh, Separatists, great. He auto gets his contract. With Mandalorians, great. He's their tank. With Bounty Hunters, he can be a leader that gives them 30 extra speed. Or, that's just Scoundrels for that matter. He fits a lot of different places and a lot of needs, which is pretty lore friendly, in fact. Ki-Adi-Mundi, the Conehead himself, just does a ton of damage, but the other thing to keep in mind, folks, is that he can switch his form, and if you give him his Omega, he's also able to taunt, which is a nice little added piece of versatility if you really want that. You can add him to a lot of teams, and whereas, yes, he goes better with Jedi, as always, and goes even better with all Galactic Republic Jedis, he is also able to just hit like a damn truck, a space truck at that, in any squad. You know, call him to assist, guys. He's able, and he double taps too. It's like, oh, hey, go attack someone. He's like, can I attack him twice? You're like, I don't see why not. And so he does. He says, don't mind if I do. So, is that it? I think that's it, folks. All right. We spent too long on this video, as per usual, but hopefully next month we'll be keeping all videos under 20 minutes. We'll see if I can actually manage that. That being said, folks, let me know what your thoughts are. Which plug-and-play characters did I miss? We have a big old list of them today. I probably should have just picked a fewer of them. I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts are, though, folks. Thank you all so much for watching. And remember that in all things, Xaereth prevails.